Alright, so I have a 2012 f550 cabin chassis. The 6.7 powerstroke diesel. I have a reductant tank A heater performance code. So what I did was I unplugged the harness right here, and I checked the 2 wires that go to the heater, and I was getting, I think, 4.5 ohms. The spec on it, I believe, is 1.5 to 2.5, or 1 to 2.5, something like that. I'll try to link to something that if I could find it again. I have a copy of a PDF of the diagnostics for this. I'll try to find it again and put it in the description if I can find it. But anyway, I believe it's supposed to be 1 to 2.5 ohms for the in-tank heater, and then the heater line, I think, is 3 to 4.5, or 3 to 5, I believe. But anyway, so it's out of spec for the resistance measurement. So while it's nice I have the ability to put the body up, obviously they put the valve body here. They welded it to the subframe, which I can't disconnect because that's welded in the back, right over the the reductant heater control tub thing, whatever you want to call it. So inside there is the heater, and there is a level sensors. So I don't believe that you can buy them separately. So I got this one from Ford because apparently they're junk. So I figured you might as well get a best quality junk. How does that sound? Anyway, that's what you got inside there. So I think the heater is actually at the bottom, that kind of grid thing, and then inside this tube here is the level sensors. So as you can see, you got the 2 wires go down to the heater, which are the two thicker wires, and then you get the thinner wires are the level sensors. So that's how I need to check the thicker ones. So you can do a resistance check on this one and see what we get. See if it's where it should be. I imagine it will be, but you never know. So check this out. Which ones are the big ones? These 2. Slipped off. And we are getting 2.1. So this one's 2.1, which is between the, was it the 1 to 3 or 1 to 2.5, whatever it's supposed to be. So this one's correct. So with these, a couple of causes could be programming issues. I think they've had problems with that. It could be wiring, or it could be the heater. Being that the heater is out of spec resistance wise, I'm gonna change that first and see if that fixes the problem, because if the computer's looking for a certain current measurement and the resistance isn't right, then it's gonna change the current measurement. So I believe that's why it's throwing the performance code. So first thing I'm gonna do is, obviously loosen this hose up, take this hose off. I'm gonna unhook the connectors off of the tank here, and then the vent line. The vent line's got little squeeze tabs, so you squeeze aside and then it pops off. So I'm hoping that I can just loosen up some of these brackets and then slide the tank forward so I can get it out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to because of the way this tank here has this bulge in it. I don't know if it'll slide forward. It's got that bulge on both sides where the strap is recessed in there, and the strap is welded, or the second half of the strap is welded down at the bottom there, so I can't take that off It might give me enough play, I don't know, but if it doesn't, there's 2 bolts that go through the channel back here that it's welded to. Well, I mean, that channel, there's 2 channels. There's an outside one and an inside one. The outside one is bolted to the frame, and that channel is welded to the bracket that's bolted to the frame. And then there's an inside channel that's 2 bolts. The nut was 15 millimeter and the head of the bolt was 13 millimeter. So I'm going to start disconnecting some of the stuff and try to slide it forward. So I'll see if I can do that. If not, then I'm obviously going to have to take those brackets down. But I'm going to get as much as I can unhooked up top here, and then I'll raise it up on the lift and then try to lower it down. Alright, so save a little bit of time. This front strap I had to take off because the DEF fluid injector line goes under it, and you can't get it out with the strap on. So I took the front strap off. Over here, to get the 2 channels apart, or the 2 brackets apart, you gotta slide that bolt forward. You cannot slide that bolt forward because it will obviously hit the front of the tank there, so you can't get these 2 brackets apart. I guess when you take it down, you can swap it around and then put it back in the other way, so you can do it later. Over here, that bolt comes out forward, so you can get that off. But you can't swing the front of the tank over because the second half of the strap is welded to the bottom of that bracket, so basically you cannot take it apart that way. I was initially going to try to slide it forward, but the way my luck is, I know if I try all that, I'm going to waste a lot of time trying to do that, and the easiest way to do it will be to just take the tank out, which is what I'm going to do. So, cabin chassis model, 1 bolt there, nuts anyway, 1 nut there, 1 nut there. Here's 1 bolt there, and 1 bolt over here, and then the tank comes out. There's a connector in there, pretty large one. So you gotta take that connector apart, take the fill tube off, take the vent line off, take the pressure line off for the reductant heater line, whatever it is. So you gotta take that off. I had a hard time getting it off, but it was basically, I just had to squeeze those tabs. Like, I'm trying to do it, but I was having trouble with it. But these 2 little grippy sections here, I ended up just kind of squeezing it and it slipped right off. So that's how you get that off, I guess. I mean, maybe I just got lucky. So now that that's all unhooked, I can kind of rotate it, the top in. Well, I got to take these nuts off, but once I got these nuts off, you just kind of rotate the top in and, well, kind of pull it in and then drop it down, providing they haven't put any more obstacles in the way. So I'm gonna put it up on the lift and pull the tank out. Alright, so we got the tank out. I had to kind of tip it forward a little bit to get it past the drive shafts, because these, where the bolts are in there, once it came out, you had to like kind of rock it to get it off the frame. So you got these three hex heads. This is an H4 that fits in there, or Allen head. So I don't think an H5 works. So yeah, so it's H4 or 5/32 fits in there too. So you get three little screws. Take the pump off. These off. Oh, they're pretty good. Okay, I'll just leave that one on. So, you got some of these zip ties around here holding the cables up. I usually like to take a picture of it, just so I know where they were. That way I don't have to remember where they were. A little arrow about right there. So do this plug. I wonder if that comes in new clips. They just come on. So I'm just reaching in there and pulling that little tab up that locks the zip ties in. I don't know if it comes in new ones, so I don't want to cut them and then find out I don't have them. There's that. There's that. I put this down on a clean piece of shop rag. And then we're gonna get this off. So I blew this all off before I started taking this off, just so dirt doesn't fall in there. I'll blow it off a little more. There's that. So, we got a new seal. Obviously the tank. Does come with new zip ties. We'll worry about those later. And new O-rings. So, the O-rings. And So those are the zip ties. Kind of clip in there somehow. So you got two O-rings. One O-ring goes here, and one goes here. I believe you got to put the big O-ring on the housing, and then you put the small O-ring on the pump, and then you put it back together. Unless you put a little bit of that DEF fluid or something on them to kind of lubricate them. I don't know if you have to use the DEF fluid. That's just something I had seen. This comes out, I'm guessing, because it ain't one in the other one. I don't know how it comes out. There you go, you just pull a little O-ring on that. Clean that off. I'll have to blow it off later, see. So, when I went to pick this up, the people at Ford said that there's a different heater for cabin chassis as opposed to the regular Super Duties. So if you have a cabin chassis, it's going to have a different heater than the regular ones, apparently. Now, let me get some other gloves. Alright, so got these little rings in there. I believe it probably pops in and turns or something. Let's see what we got. That's pretty easy. So what I did was I put my hand in there like that, my other hand in here, and I just kind of pushed them apart, popped it. Make sure there's no dirt around that lip there. Sideways in there. Show them line it up. Same way, just get it in, tweak it over. That down. So, this is keyed or anything. Something like that. I know this is going to have to be oriented a little bit better. Some marks on the tank. There's a little arrow here too, but that's probably got to be in between these little grooves. So I'm going to look at my photo and I'm going to see if I'm going to see exactly where that was. Alright, I actually didn't have a picture of that, so I looked back at the video. These two little notches right here, and then there's a little tiny arrow right there, and it looks like you line that arrow up with it. By looking at the video, it looks like this front section right here was like right in line with that front part of the, well, this threaded insert was like right in line with the front of that. So I'm gonna loosen it up a little bit and see if I can spin it some. And I can't, so I think we're close enough. So I had to change the O-ring because the one on there swelled. I put an R04 O-ring in it. So there's that. Let's see, these were over here like this. And then this clip was in here. So, alright, so I fitted these old screws back in so I can give it a little bit of a twist back to where it was, because it was kind of bugging me. So there's a little arrow on here. I kind of made a mark in the dirt on the side of this tank. We're going to do it right there. So I want to get this arrow back to there. Tight. Where'd my pick go? Lost it. I did. I walked away with it. Alright. So, there is a little O-ring in here. But I believe you gotta take it out and put this one in. Right? Why is that lower than this guy? This one was flush with the top. Which is a bigger O-ring than the one I got here. A bigger O-ring than the one that's there. I don't think you're supposed to stack them. So that leaves me a little bit confused here because that doesn't stick up. I'm looking at the pump, it doesn't look like it has to stick up. It looks like it seals on the inside, not on the top. I don't know. They gave me two that are the same size. So I don't even know why they gave me the second one, personally. Huh. I don't know. There's that. So let's take let's take this little guy on, you know, like that. A little puddle of DEF fluid down here. Made a little slickery. And we'll just shove it in. Yes. So my flashlight go outside and like everything else. Probably lift it up on underneath the body. So I just want to make sure that that second little guy is going in and it's not getting kicked out. It's really So that's in, and they give you 3 new screws. That little kick tool. I got me wondering if the damn thing's in right. I don't like the way it's wobbling. It's probably in there. It's just bugging me. Just gotta redo it. I should have just left it alone. It was fine. Okay. See why they say to put the O-ring on the pump, because it'll just get kind of squished in there. Toy. So let's see, how did these go? Like this somehow, right? So I blow the stuff out of the connector because it's not connecting. There we go. That was all of them. All right, so Alright, so I got all my zip ties back on. I just have to plug the harness back in, right there. The vent line on, put the fill line on, put the heater line back on, and then plug it in. And tighten up the bolts. I got the 1, 2, and then the 2 on the bottom. Make 4, and then should be good with the physical change, and then I'll have to go in and clear the codes. Take it for a ride and see if anything comes back. I don't know if it'll have a code unless it commands the glow plugs on, because the glow plug control module is what controls this heater. So like I said, I don't know if it's gonna throw a code until it's cold enough to command it on. I guess I could try to command it on and see what it does through the bidirectional controls. And I know when I was trying it before, you'd get a load, it would show a current measurement for like a half a second, and then it would sort of start showing it, and then it just wouldn't do anything after that. So I think once it detected that there was an issue, it just stopped trying to make it work. So anyway, that's this part done. Alright, so I'm testing the reductant tank heater control. When I initially did this, it was like 3200. I don't know what UA is. I don't know if that's microamps or... I'm not exactly sure what UA is. But this time when I check it, providing it actually checks it again. We're not going to do it this time. Alright, so I did it for half a second, then shut off. The scan tool's a little funky. It was just working. So right now it's going on and off real quick. This time I just did it a second ago. I was getting 5700 milliamps. So what is that? 5 amps. Yeah, 5800 milliamps. So yeah, it should be, I think, 5 amps, which is a lot different than the 3200 microamps I was getting. So I mean, it looks like it's fixed. I'm definitely getting a different result. So I'm just gonna kind of play around in here and make sure my pump and everything's working. And I'm gonna say that probably fixed it. If not, there'll be a part 2. But as of now, I think it's fixed. So I thank you for watching, and I hope that helps somebody. And have a nice day. So this scan tool doesn't seem to have a test for the reductant line pressure, but so I just took it for a ride. It took a couple of minutes, but eventually it came up. So we're running about 70 pounds, a little over 70. So I'm gonna say that we're all fixed, and go with this for now. And hopefully I don't have any other problems with it. Thanks for watching.